Hey there. I wanted to come on and talk today about laziness and judging people for being lazy or about being lazy. And the reason this comes in is because a few times over the past week or so, I've heard other people refer to other people as being lazy. And reflecting on that, I first of all would invite you to reflect on that at a time where, gosh, where does that even come from? The thought of lazy. When did that first come into your awareness that laziness is a thing and that it's being used in a context of, I can't think of a time where I've ever known it to be used or where I have ever used it or seen somebody use it as being a good thing. So right away we're in duality with laziness and usually seen as not a good thing. I guess I have seen, okay, so lazy days. Thinking of lazy days, that is the context where it's used in a more positive way, where you're intentionally setting the tone to have a relaxed day, using it as a relaxed day. So that is a good thing to have it come in that way too. However, the context that it's been used in for me recently is not been a good context and actually quite negative and judgmental of other people. And as I consider that, I would invite you to consider that. Where did you come into the knowing and awareness of the word lazy, of the concept of lazy? How have you used it? How have you used it towards yourself? How have you used it towards others? How have others used it towards you? So as I was sitting outside in my backyard last night reflecting, it was a beautiful sunset. We're coming off the solstice. And I have had a very, very busy past few weeks with a lot of things that are coming to completion for me in one form and expanding into new open doors in another form. So, for example, I think since February, been in training for to become a multi-dimensional soul integration practitioner. And I've completed, just last Thursday, the number of practice sessions that I needed to complete in order to send off my log for to complete the certification process and to get my certificate and all of that and to become certified. I still have several more practice sessions this week and into next week that I have, because it's always good to have practice, right? And to give a little bit of context to that for you, and by the way, I will go back to laziness. I will. But to give some context for you to the MSI, Multidimensional Soul Integration practitioner and sessions, it's developed by J.J. Bright, and I'll expand on it more in a different post or on my website. But it's integrating aspects of ourselves, soul aspects from past parallel lives, other dimensional lives that we are experiencing. It's integrating those aspects that have mastered something, are masters at something, into this current timeline, into this current 3D experience, this body that we're having, into this energy that is us right now, for the purpose of expansion and using those gifts and those masteries in this current timeline. So yes, I have been busy with that, wrapping that up. I am also wrapping up a 9-month course that I have taken with Rebecca Campbell called the Inner Temple Mystery School. And that aligns with and gives me credits towards my board certification in holistic nursing. So when you're board certified, you have to have continuing education hours over a span of so many years, and then you have to recertify for me with mine, it's every 5 years, and I have to have 100 credits in continuing education that have to do with holistic nursing. And Rebecca Campbell's Inner Temple Mystery School is aligned with that. And I was so excited to hear that the credits for that would apply towards my board certification, because it's such an expanding course. Yes, so wrapping that up, working on completing that within this next week here. And then also, I just released yesterday on my website the Grounded Ascension Journey Planner plus Journal, where the user can really ground. It's a planner and journal that includes information to help the user ground in the cycles of Gaia. So the seasons, the moon cycles, the portals, the energetic portals, the monthly portals, the astrology, so like sun signs. It brings in information about your sun sign, and you can tune into that each month, because each month is in a new sun sign. So maybe you're not a Cancer, because we're in Cancer right now, that we've just moved into Cancer within the last couple days. Maybe you're not a Cancer, but you can understand the energies of Cancer and how it can relate to you in this moment. And so the planner and journal has an appendix in the back that has all this information that comes with journal prompts, the meditation, crystals to use, informational pages about the topics. It brings in the divine family, the divine feminine, divine masculine, divine child. And that has, like I said, just been released, available on my website for sale. It is a digital download that you will get, complete with links. So if you're using a digital planner or a PDF app on your phone, you can just click on the little links to get you from page to page and navigate. But it's also printer friendly. I personally like to print and write and really ground that way. I see myself using it as hybrid, where I will have the planner pages printed, but then the appendix pages, use them digitally to look things up when I need to. Yes, and there's so many expansion packs that are going to be coming with that I already have being formulated. So information about star families and how to integrate them, and sacred geometry and angels and light language and all these other the laws of the universe, all these other expansive frequencies and energies that you can tune into and explore. So those will be expansion packs. That expansion, because we're expanding, right? So those will be coming available soon, and as they pop into my mind to create. I'm getting downloads every day from Spirit on other expansion packs that can create. So it's so much fun. So many things coming to completion, and then expanding into new things. So with the MSI sessions, that's going to expand into actually seeing people as a MSI practitioner and integrating that into my everyday life and expanding in that way. Yes. And, oh, yes. And within this past couple of months, I've also become the community coordinator for Activations with JJ. So I mentioned JJ Brighton earlier. This is the community that I participate in, and now am the community coordinator for. And it's such a beautiful community. I can't say enough about it and how much I've grown since joining the community back in 2024 when it first became up and running. I would highly recommend everybody check out Activations with JJ. I will put a link at the bottom or wherever with this video. And so that has been very awesome too, just expanding into the energies of supporting the community in that way. Another community that I would love to highlight is the energetics. Oh my goodness, Kira, I'm gonna It's led by Kara Bundy Dunn, who I graduated high school with. She's a beautiful soul, has a beautiful website, karmicleader.com, and it's the Energetics Mentorship Community, and she does such a beautiful job with it. I love just knowing the community is there as support is so supportive for me. I love it. So those are communities that I am active in. I have no intentions of starting my own community. I love being in those communities where these gals have, like, they are mastering the frequencies of, oh my gosh, just holding space in that way for so many people. It's so beautiful. So as I circle back to sitting outside last night reflecting on all of these things that I've just talked about, it came back to mind for some reason that whole the density of laziness. And as I was reflecting, thinking about all the things that I have intentionally focused my energy on for the past many months to bring all of the things I just talked about into reality, into the physical, I reflected on how much energy that actually takes. And there's so much mental processing that is required. There's so much just an understanding of how to even manage personal energy in order to make these things happen. And in general, humans aren't taught how to manage our energy. We're not taught how to do it. And it really is trial and error in so many ways. I know there are a few exceptions where there are folks who do teach this or learn this as they are developing and growing and expanding into their adulthood and things like that. So I know there's some exceptions, but in general, humans are not taught how to manage our energy. And when I think of times where I may have been labeled as lazy, those are absolutely times where I was feeling overwhelmed as a human. I recall, so I was a single mom for quite a few years, about 10 years, with my 3 kids. And I remember being in nursing school and managing my household. I owned a house. I did all the yard work. I did everything. Did everything while going to nursing school, while working as an LPN, because I was a nurse at that time too, and I was going to school for my associate degree in nursing, and working through all of that. And I remember my garbage had piled up outside, not because I intended it to, but because there was a missed payment. I did very good at paying my bills. I did very good, but I had missed a payment, and the garbage company did not pick up my garbage, and I did not want to keep the garbage in my house, so I set it outside. But I got a random anonymous card from a neighbor, letting me know how my garbage sculptures were not appreciated. That was how they put it. And that's one time where I think back where I know somebody had labeled me, not understanding my situation, not understanding the overwhelm I was working through. It. And when I hear others, so I've experienced many times of overwhelm, and I think everybody has. And when I'm thinking back to those times, it really wasn't laziness in the context that people use it. It was overwhelm to the extent that a human has only so much energy that they can expend in any given time. And if we're not taught how to intentionally choose how to expend our energy, then we're not necessarily going to be making the choices that are going to be the most beneficial ways for us to expend our energy and what to focus on. If that makes sense. So if you're working with somebody, or you're seeing somebody, or you're labeling somebody who wasn't even taught how to properly care for themselves, it's going to be far more likely that they're going to be one who could potentially be labeled lazy, because they don't have the resources. They don't have the resources to live up to the expectations of other human beings that are labeling them as lazy. And by resources, I don't necessarily mean garbage takeaway and things like that. I mean the resources within themselves, the coping skills, the coping tools, the awareness and the ability, the awareness and the conscious capacity. They're just doing the best they can to get through life. There's so many people in that space who are just doing the best they can to get through life. And I find myself moving in between the density of the duality and experiencing the high dimensional frequencies that come through in an MSI session, in working with folks in the communities that I'm in that have experienced the higher frequencies, who know they exist, who know they are possible, and are holding space for those who are just trying to get by, so that they have there's a word trying to come through. It's not stage, it's not platform. So that they have so that they have the ground, so that they have the opportunity to exist and be held, and to be held in unconditional love. That's what's coming through. So where others are judging, we that are that have the awareness. Okay, so there's everybody is here to nobody is more special than anybody else. Nobody is more special, and that is not what I'm conveying here. Nobody is better or worse, and at the same time, no duality, all is one. Those who are in this space to see and know and experience the oneness also hold the space of unconditional love for those who have not experienced oneness. And we hold space for judgments to, like the space that we're holding. That unconditional love, that frequency, I feel it. It's like palpable. Transmutes any judgments that may come through. those frequencies, those energies of judgment are transmuted through all of this. Okay. Oh, so please know that as I wrap up this video, me talking about judgments does not mean that I do not ever have judgments pop into my awareness and into my being and come up in me. I am human. There are judgments that come through. The difference is, I think, is that I'm aware of them and I process through them consciously to understand why they came through, and if it was a helpful judgment, because my goodness, we judge things to stay safe, right? So is this a helpful judgment that's going to help me to stay safe physically and keep me alive? Or is this a judgment that is helping me to feel like higher than somebody else? When you're having judgments come through that cause you to feel like you're better than the other person, then that's usually letting you know that you've got some shadow work to do. And my goodness, when we make friends with our shadows and bring those shadows to light, there is so much expansion and integration that happens. And by the way, in that new Grounded Ascension Journey Planner Bliss Journal, there is a section on shadow work. All right, until next time, enjoy the expansion, my friends.